guys, we've just come off road. We've just come around and Djuma bound. Look what we spotted in the tree. Sensor's not in the best position. I might have to move forward. There she is. Let me just go forward an inch. Sorry about that, folks. Isn't that marvelous? A female leopard as relaxed as they can be, just hanging around in a marula tree. Isn't that fantastic? So this morning on walk, for those of you who weren't watching, we were about 2 minutes out of camp with the magician Herbie. He was our expert tracker, and I told him about the movements of leopard yesterday, and he said, okay, cool, well, let's go along this particular sort of road, see if we can find any tracks. And 30 seconds on that road, this female climbed down a marula tree and ran and hid behind a termite mound. And we got a marvelous view of her on foot. It was absolutely magical. Craig, who's been up with us in the Mara for the last few months, is back. It's his first bushwalk. Herbie's first bushwalk in a few days. He's been off. And how fantastic is that we were able to see her, and now we're able to come back in the afternoon and get her again with the camera, because we didn't get any proper look at her this morning. But that is what leopards are like on foot. That's what they're like on foot. They're very, very hard to see. You're not going to take many, many photos. You're only going to have a quick look. They might disappear, as you saw this morning. Thanks for those of you who tagged me in some of the pictures and sent them to me on Twitter. All I can see is her head looking at us over the Djuma mountain. Absolutely magical. Dale, she is super relaxed. Super relaxed. We're still trying to figure out how it is and what it is that, or I believe it's a dacre that she took up the tree, but how she got it. Did she steal it from the hyena? It's very hard, really, to understand. But the kill is up on the other side of the tree there. Sense can't really see it. But I just thought we'd give you this quick view as we're coming into the sighting. We are going to go a bit closer. As you can see, she's very relaxed. But I've never seen this female before. But you can see the typical famous photo of leopards in the Sabi Sands draped over the marula tree. I've seen this many times on social media. And here we have the quintessential photo. Isn't that marvelous? Sense we're going to go a bit closer. Okay, folks, just bear with us. We're going to just reposition, go back over to Brent, see what updates he has for you. Yes, thanks very much, Brent. How exciting would that be if we managed to get, or he manages to get Tundi and her cub for you this afternoon? Leopard trifecta. And yes, and she is looking rather plump with her dacre meat inside, and she's just having a little bit of a doze. Let's hope she doesn't fall out of the tree. That would be quite something. You can see how full her belly is. As Scott was saying, when he found her this morning, she didn't look like she'd eaten at all. So how she came across this dacre is really difficult to say. You know, the wonders of the bush, things that happen out here, who knows what could have happened. I mean, the hyena catching a dacre, that's possible. It's possible. But I mean, all Scott saw was her running away from a hyena with a dacre in her jaws and climbing the tree. There is the remains of the dacre. You can see how windy it is this afternoon. As Brent said, difficult to hear the alarm calls because of this blustering breeze. But cats do enjoy these conditions. She's drying her meat out in the air. It'll probably be good. We'll keep the flies away. You don't get too many flies in wind like this, which is quite nice. So that meat won't get too many maggots on it. Just being spoken to on the radio, folks. Just stand by for a second. Standing by. No, affirmative, yes. We've got quite a nice visual from this side. You're welcome to join. If you just pull in directly behind me, you can actually go straight on facing her. You'll get a good view. One of the landowners from Buffelshoek obviously would like to come and see this beautiful cat. Wouldn't you, if you had the potential right now to get in your Land Rover, Land Cruiser, drive over here and come and have a look at her? Yes, I know you would. Hello, Ravinda. Good afternoon to you. You want to know if Hukumuri and Xidulu are making Djuma their home. It seems as if Ukumuri is. This is the first time I've seen this female. I think she was spotted by Tristan about a month and a half ago, but there's been no other sightings of her that I know of since then, I could be mistaken, but it's possible that she's moved in. I mean, apparently she's quite a young cat, so she might be moving and taking some claim to the area. Maybe a lot of the time when Herbie's been saying tracks around our camp are Tundi, it's possible that they've been this female. But it's really, really hard without having any GPS on the leopards, without having any camera traps or anything that might sort of follow their movements directly or see exactly where they're moving, to know where she's coming from and where she's going. What we do know is she is in the heart of Djuma right now. I can show you shortly on the map to show you exactly where she is. I think Scott might have done so this morning. But actually she's not in the heart as I look at the map. She's a little more to the west. So it's possible she's sharing our boundary. So we're here on a road called Aubrey's, which is quite far sort of west. But we found her this morning over here. So 2 minutes from our camp, which is over here. We walked across there, got her, and then Scott followed her all the way through the block. We're about over there. So it's possible that she's using Arethusa and our western boundary. She might even be going north into Buffelshoek. Who actually knows? I mean, even down here into Little Gowrie below us, it's really hard to say. But Tundi's spending most of her time in this sort of area now, sort of between Yala Road and Drakensberg and Cheetah Cutline. I think that's where Brent is saying she is in and out on the cutline here. Whereas Ukumuri has moved in. Sort of, he's come in along this road, Shabamu, which I've had Tingana in my first week here scent marking on, and I followed him all the way up to this section over here, and we've seen him stealing a kill from Tingana right at Vuetela Dam, and this seems to be sort of the middle section that he's moved into. So very hard really to see, but it's awesome to be able to play and to look on the map and see where these leopards are moving to and what they're up to. But Tristan will be back on Monday, and I'm sure he'll be able to update you very, very formally on the makings and the doings of the leopards in the area. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It is a really dynamic situation, but let's go back to her. Isn't she gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Hello, Francis from Israel. He wants to know if leopards ever fall out of trees. I've only seen a youngster fall out of a tree, but it was actually playing around and it just kind of slipped and it just sort of landed on its feet and bounced off again. So it didn't hurt itself. But then once upon a time, I did see a female get taken out of a tree by a male, and she actually got killed. That was on a video done in the Sabi Sands. The male leopard chased her cub up the tree and was actually going to kill it, and she went up to obviously try and support her cub, and he ended up ripping her out the tree, landing on her back, and then he dispatched her. It's very sad to watch, but it is what happens in these environments. She did put her life on the line for her cub, and she lost it she lost it then. But leopards are very agile in trees. I've never seen one like this fall out. She's got her weight quite nicely distributed there. Very good balance with the tail. And I think her left front foot is just there to support her in case something happens. Like I said, it's quite windy. I was up a tree just like this yesterday, and it was quite tricky holding on, to be honest. But then my nails are not designed for keeping me hoisted and anchored in a tree. But beautiful sight to see how she can just lie there, have a little nap, not a worry in the world. She's drying her meat. The wind is cooling her off we had some extremely hot temperatures the last few days. Today is wonderfully cool. Joy wants to know if big cats land on their feet, like domestic cats. And the leopards I've seen sort of jump out of a tree do. They land very, very well on their feet. Even we had one of the Birmingham boys go up and steal one of Tundi's kills, and he jumped down and he landed on his feet. Quite an effort it was when he landed. But, I mean, yeah, my brother used to be quite naughty when he was young, and he'd hold our cat kind of upside down by the legs and then drop it, and it would always land on its feet. So I'm not sure if leopards have that ability. I've never seen it that close up, but I have a feeling that they are very, very agile and very able to keep their feet in their balance. She's just having a little snooze, folks. Are we interrupting her afternoon nap, I wonder? So she does have a very nice view. So anything does materialize or come nearby, she will probably go and stalk and take it down if she can. But in the moment, she is having a snooze. But let's go over to Brent and see if he's managed to make any head or tail of those tracks. Everybody knows what we've got this side. And what are all the viewers' comments on Taylor McCurdy's face? I got a bit of a shock when she walked out of the bathroom. And then did a small shamrock on my face. Just a small one. And she has painted herself very green indeed, Miss McCurdy. Definitely getting into the spirit of St. Patrick's Day. I wonder if this young lady up the tree is interested in coming and joining us for a little party later. I don't think so. She looks like she's preoccupied with her nap. Oh, isn't that just so precious? She's having a bit of a nap this year. She's slowly. I wonder if we're going to get her live on air falling out the tree. All of you viewers are asking if they do fall, so it'd be wonderful to see what happens if she does slip. They are very agile, so even if she fell, I'm sure she would be okay. And quite a few bushes underneath the tree as well. It's actually really super cool to see how long their tail actually is. You don't really notice it when they're walking. It's always flicking. It's got almost a life of its own, but now you can kind of see it in its glory hanging down, and it gives you a really good indication of the length, in fact, of how long their tail is. It's at least as long as her body. Perfect for balancing up in the trees. And a beautiful Catterday we are having indeed. Beautiful Catterday. St. Patrick's Day Catterday. Marvellous. We're probably going to spend some time with this female, unless something else happens out there and we need to move out, but I'm sure she's going to give us something at some point. She might move across and have another little munch. The light periodically comes out of the clouds behind us to light up those beautiful golden rosettes. The weather has surely pulled in, but there's been no rain. We were very disappointed with last night's performance. We are prepared for it, though. We do have the roofs on, so we don't have to leave the sighting to go put a roof on. We are prepared to cover everything if need be. There, she's nodding off. Oh, she's catching herself every time. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? I'm sure many of you viewers out there have seen this sort of picture before, but I can never get enough of it. I can never get enough of it. Leopard draped over a marula tree, that beautiful look on their face sometimes, that beautiful tail, those very strong legs, those paws. Hello, Komora. You want to know if any of the leopards have seen any of the guides have seen a black leopard? I don't know. Oh, well, I haven't. Brett seems to have travelled quite a bit more in Africa than I have. He might have seen something like that. I've never, though. I wonder if we can maybe go to him shortly and see if he's seen one. I don't even know where you'd find one, to be honest. There we go. Okay, so I believe Taylor's got some answers for your bird quiz. Let's go over to her and see who's won. Master indeed, thank you very much, Brent. Of course, Brent has seen a black leopard. And we have got a golden one with lovely spots. So it doesn't look like this beautiful female is going to be getting up to too much in the next little while. So we're thinking shortly we might leave, go do a little bit of a bumble around, see what else we might be able to find. Maybe we can find that one elusive kingfisher that Brent has not seen, and we can add that to our list. which kingfisher that might be. I'm actually not sure. I didn't get that, but I'd like to know which kingfisher Bex. Brent, maybe go find some more birds, an elephant or two, and then we'll obviously come back before it gets too late and see what this young lady has gotten up to. By the look of things, I don't think she'll be getting up to too much. But a marvellous start to the afternoon Catterday, St. Patrick's Day for everybody around there. Toast our apple juice this evening to all of those of you who watch our show and send through all your wonderful comments and questions. I shall raise a glass of apple juice to everyone out there. And Krista wants to know if I know if Xidulu's had any cubs. I do not, actually, Krista. She's a very new leopard for me, but I will find out. I know Tristan, when he gets back on Monday, I think he will, or he gets back tomorrow. Does he? I think he gets back tomorrow or Monday. He will probably know. He knows his female from before, but apparently she's a young leopard, so she just moved into the area. So it's possibly unlikely that she has. Maybe she's just coming into her prime. But then I am only assuming here. I have absolutely no idea. But hopefully she decides to stay, so we don't get too much activity of a female leopard on the western side. So folks, have one last look at this beautiful female in the golden sunlight, because we are going to be leaving her shortly to do a little bumble around and see what other content we can provide for you this afternoon. And while we do that, let's go back over to Taylor McCurdy, who's found some elephants drinking. Yes, there we go, and she's just stood up as you've come back to us live. She's yawned, and she's now turning, and she's licking her back. Why? Because you can. I would lick my back if I could, I reckon, from time to time, just for fun. I think she's maybe trying to reposition from her full belly, but she's been lying there since we got here. We've only been here a few minutes. What is, maybe she spotted something? No, just reposition that full belly, that's all. Just a little bit of a bed sore happening on the tummy. Reposition on the pole of the branch, I mean. And there she's back, comfortable and in her element. A few clouds are shielding the sun from providing us with a beautiful light. Just going to move forward, I think, maybe to get that leaf out of the way. We are going to be joined shortly by another vehicle, so also want to give them a little bit of space. How's that sense? Is that good? There we go. Hello, beautiful lady. Just hang on a sec, folks. I'm just being called on the radio. Standing by. Okay, I'm just going to move forward a little bit more, Senzi. We've got a vehicle coming in behind us. Tell me if you still got a good look when I move forward here. Is that still all right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, very good. Get the other vehicle in, let them have a look. I'm sure they won't stay very long, and then we'll make ourselves a little bit better for you folks at home. Isn't she a glorious, glorious leopard? Let's have a look at the spot patterns, hey? She's got a whole lot of spots on the right-hand side there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and a 1, it seems, or is that 5 and a 4? Very interesting. That is quite a unique spot pattern, I think. But she is very pretty. Look at those eyes. Oh. And those teeth. Look at what big teeth I have. So she's definitely seeming to feel a little bit more active. Maybe she'll go back to that duiker soon and have a little feed. I'm just going to check to see if this other vehicle's got a good view. Everything good? Yeah, they seem to be fine. It's what's so nice when a leopard does sit up in the tree like this. You don't have to go too close. We're about 40 yards or so away from the tree, and which benefits us quite nicely because we've got the roof on. If she was in the tree and we were underneath it, we wouldn't be able to actually see her. So marvelous that she's posing for us like that. Milia wants to know about copulation in leopards and when will they mate again after unsuccessful copulation. So leopards will cycle. Sorry, Sens, I'm just trying to take my foot off the brake. Leopards will copulate every month, or they will come into cycle every month if they do not fall pregnant. So if one mating session is unsuccessful, then she'll go out of heat for a brief period of time, and then she'll come in again within a month. And that will happen again and again and again until she is successfully fertilized. And it's very similar with lions as well. And that allows for there to be a little bit of uncertainty in the males, so they're not too sure who the father is. And in cats, especially the large cats, they have what is called induced ovulation, which means they need to mate repeatedly to cause the ovulation to actually happen. Okay, well, we're going to stay here with this cat, maybe get another view for you at some stage, but let's go to Taylor, who's still got a very excitable bunch of guinea fowl. Yes, indeed, our patience has paid off, leaving and going and doing other things and coming back, knowing that at some stage, when it cools down enough, she will get her hunger back after a little bit of digestion. And there's nothing like Dacre, sun-dried, on the menu. Now you can see it's a little male Dacre now with the horns, and oh, his tongue is lolling out of his mouth. What a shame. But she's done rather well to secure it up there in the branches. This is kind of the point when it starts getting to when leopards feed, where they often drop the carcass because of obviously ripping at the meat. And there she's using the carnassial shear, the side cutting teeth, characteristic of all carnivores, using it to cut through the sinew, possibly some of the small bones, enabling them to really get in there and feed on a huge portion of an animal. She doesn't seem too hungry. She's just a little bit peckish after her afternoon slumber. What piece do you want? What piece do I feel like? I don't think she's too sure, to be honest. I mean, she's just bored of sitting in the tree. I think that's it. She's bored eating. That's what's happened. There we go. That's much better. See how she puts her foot on it to hold it in place as she rips. That's a much better technique. It's often with young leopards you'll see them doing things like she was doing before, not standing on it. And so basically trying to pull it with her teeth and then dislodging it every time. And then the potential of it to fall on the ground is very real. And many times I've seen leopards up a tree with a hyena just waiting at the bottom to steal what falls down. The opportunistic hyena. Looks like she's got a bit of a tough piece there. But marvelous to see her up and doing something. Hello, Pradeep, 6 years old. Welcome to the show. I hope you're not too off-put by what's going on here. You want to know if they hurt their tongue when they're feeding. I don't think so. I mean, some interesting facts I learned the other day from the viewers is the reason why lions and leopards, I would say, have got that black around their mouth is to protect it, to make it a lot harder and stronger from the bones and possibly even the claws in the case of the lions when they are feeding. So I don't know if their tongue gets injured at all, but it's just like if you eat meat at home and you gnaw at it. I mean, as long as you don't bite your tongue, it's pretty okay. You know, you chew around the bones, and they are very, very good at chewing and cutting that side. You see how she's using the side? That's for cutting the sinew. And then the tongue will just help to sort of maneuver it within the mouth. And I'm pretty sure it would hurt if she caught her tongue between some of her teeth. But we all do it from time to time. It's not a very pleasant feeling. But absolutely sensational that we're able to spend time like this with live leopards in real time, doing their thing. Not bothered at all by the vehicles here on the ground, watching them. Sue, I can if I really listen closely, but, you know, only when she's crunching, obviously, but it's a little bit windy, and she's a little bit far away, but, yeah, I can hear it. It's obviously not as loud as it would be if we were a little bit closer, or if the wind died down. I don't know if any of you folks can hear it on the ambient there. Yeah, oh, there she drops a piece. She looks down forlornly at it. So I wonder if there's a female duiker rolling around here, very concerned that her partner is not coming home for the evening. Shame, poor fella. All for the greater good, though. Nothing will be wasted out of this duiker. And it's the circle of life as we... Okay, folks, so you're back with us. I apologize for us losing you there, or us going offline very briefly. Not sure what is happening on this St. Patrick's Day, but we are still with the Xidulu female. She is still up the tree, and she's still feeding. You haven't missed much, apart from the fact that she just dropped a very small morsel of food. And we're going to go quickly over to Brent. He's got something for you. I have absolutely no idea what is happening on Taylor McCurdy's side. I think the green paint is seeping into her blood and is causing her to go mad. That seems to be the obvious answer to whatever's going on the other side. But you folks are seeing it firsthand. I'm only getting secondhand information in my ear. We're still with the Xidulu female. They've been joined by one of the other landowners who's watching this as well, taking their wonderful photos. This is one of the advantages of being out here, getting to see these magical scenes unfold. She's making good work of that impala, and I believe Scott said this morning that the impala was, the duiker was already half eaten when she hoisted it. So the mystery still eludes us as to who actually killed this one-eyed duiker. By the look of its horns, it was quite long in the tooth. You see the left horn is actually quite stubby, which means it's probably rubbed it many times. Duiker go through quite an elaborate territorial marking with their preorbital glands. which you can't see on the side of that face because someone's eaten the entire cheek of the duiker. Duiker cheek for breakfast. Can you hear the bones now, folks? Have a listen, we can hear them quite clear. The wind seems to have dropped. As I say that, it picks up again. Apologies about that, but the bones are cracking. An animal the size of a duiker, a leopard will be able to eat most of it. And then those harder bones, maybe the hips, shoulders, maybe some of the vertebrae will be left behind. But the ideal prey species for a female leopard is a duiker because of enough meat on there to keep her going for at least a day or two. And it's also quite a light animal, enabling it to hoist it all the way up the tree. Problem with the larger prey, in the case with Tumba the other day, if you remember him apparently killing that female kudu, impossible to cache that up the tree. Just gave those hyenas a marvelously free meal, which we were very fortunate to come and watch after hours. Yeah, if you listen now, the bones are crunching nicely. The wind has dipped a little bit again. You can see her tail just off to the left. It's helping to balance very nicely up here in the tree. I think her belly is probably too full for her to lie down properly and feed. She's keeping all her weight on her front paws so that she can hold the duiker in place. There we go. You hear that crunching. Peggy wants to know, does a kill ever get so spoilt that cats refuse to eat it? Well, I have seen lions eating a very rotten giraffe, a giraffe that even the guests who saw it the first time were insistent on us not going back because the smell was so disgusting. But lions and leopards seem to be able to do that. But, you know, they don't allow it to last long enough before it gets that spoiled, unless it died of natural causes. Generally, when it's hoisted, they'll feed on it at leisure, and I've never seen an animal just leaving a carcass. Cheetah will not feed on old meat, and wild dog apparently as well. But leopard and lion and hyena have got an amazing constitution when it comes to eating a rotten food, and it is that ability. And obviously because the leopard hoists its food, they've got those enzymes. They've been doing it for a very, very long time. If any of us had to do it, eat an animal that's been sitting in a tree for a day or two, guarantee you'd get very ill, and very, very ill, considering it's also raw as well. You can just imagine the things going down on there. On a day like this, not too many flies, but in moments, within moments on a sunny day, as we experienced with that kudu the other day, it was covered in blowflies, which will lay their maggots and very, very quickly start to produce all sorts of disgusting smells as they break down that rotting meat. But that is their purpose and design. And Bianca wants to know if she'll eat the organs. They generally do eat most of the organs first. Quite often, a leopard will start on the rump of an animal, being the most tender and juiciest part, and they'll go inside and eat things like the liver. You even see them eating the stomach and the intestine. Whether in what order they do it, I'm not always too sure. But most of that will get eaten. I've even seen lions taking the intestine itself and squeezing it through the teeth to get all the stomach content out of the intestine, and then chewing down on that skin, looking very happy with themselves. They're not very picky when it comes to meat. The meat is meat, and the cat must eat. So I wonder if the viewers out there can answer for me when last this female was seen on Djuma, because I don't know, and Scott has left today and Tristan's not here, so I don't know who would actually know the answer to that. So I'm sure some of you back home will remember when last she was seen, and maybe send through a quick comment, #Safari Live, let us know. Well, folks, we're going to stay here with this female probably till the end of the show, but while we do that, let's go over to Brent and see what he's doing with his last 15 minutes. Taylor in slow-mo. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Shy and in slow-mo. Who would have guessed? So, sorry for the vehicle noise in the background. We just have a vehicle busy leaving. And we are still here with this female. Looks like the Dacre is eminently about to fall from her grasp as she is holding on with one claw, it seems. Enjoying her sun-dried, wind-dried Dacre. I do apologize about the vehicle noise, folks. I wonder if we'll have some hyenas on the scene soon. The wind like this, no doubt, there will have been a waft of Dacre smell. Can you hear the crunching now? Or is it just the vehicle that has still not moved off? Have a look at that beautiful face. Looks like something out of a cyborg movie. The whole right-hand side of the face is completely gone. I wonder what befell this poor creature in the night. You'll notice that I'm using a spotlight now, just to help to brighten up the image. It's not bothering the leopard. It's made its kill. I'm not shining in the eyes of a prey animal. The prey animal is already dead. So we're not going to influence any behavior here. And if you listen closely, the wind has dropped just a little bit. It's really crunching at those bones now. Apologies about that, folks. You're only getting wind. That is the problem with windy days. As Brent said, it's hard to find leopards because you can't hear the alarm calls. It's the same with being out here. You can't hear the bone crunching of the... It almost looks like he's alive, hey, Sens, when you go down. When she was eating, that back leg was jiggering around quite a lot. Just up a bit, that back leg was really moving because of the way she's feeding. It's almost as if the Dacre is coming back to life with a little bit of a twitch. Chatty Cathy, I don't know specifically how leopards will always feed. I do know cheetah and leopard like to start feeding on the rump. Sometimes they'll open the stomach and then feed on most of the internal organs, and then they'll feed on pretty much the best parts. So I don't know exactly in what order they do it on. Sometimes you find some animals will eat the face first. Why they do that is beyond me, but it's not a species-specific thing. You get different leopards, different cheetahs with a preference and how they like to feed. I mean, someone's eaten the neck and the face of this Dacre. Whether it was like that when this leopard found it, I don't know. But quite often you find them starting with the rump or with the stomach. And then from there on, it seems to be however the animal might be purchased on the tree. Okay, well, we're going to stay here for the remainder of the drive. Let's go back over to Brent for one more factoid before he closes down. Yes, thanks very much, Brent. Wouldn't that be marvellous? Them Guhumas come back. But I've been listening on the radio, and there seems to be talk of them moving quite far, sort of east from here, because of those sub-adult males that came in yesterday. Were causing all sorts of havoc in their calling, but they seem to have followed the buffalo herds north. So maybe their calling in the north will cause the Nkuhumas to come back into their normal area. We're still with this female, and she has not stopped feeding since you were last with us. Well, thank you to everyone for wishing us all a happy St. Patrick's Day, and from us at Wild Earth Safari Live, we'd like to wish all of you out there a marvelous St. Patrick's Day. We've invited a few people around, and we're having a small gathering at the DRC this evening. There'll be a little bit of a fire and no doubt a bit of a social gathering. So that should be nice. Pity Scott had to leave this afternoon. He is going to be missed in Djuma. So just so that all of you might have some confusion, Scott has just gone up to Kenya to start filming some non-live stuff for when we get active again for the migration. So he's still with the team, still a very active part of the team, and I think he's only going up there for a month to replace James, who's going on leave, and then will be replaced by Jamie when she goes back up there. So it's been a marvelous afternoon here in Djuma in the Sabi Sands, a St. Patrick's Day Catterday, a marvelous start to the weekend, and marvelous that you're all able to jump on and join us. And I was super glad we found this cat this morning, and we're able to get close and get some visual of her. Thank you for joining us, your comments, and thanks from everyone here at FC, Senzo, and myself. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a fantastic evening, and good night.